Get ready for a chilling tale that will leave you sleeping with the lights on. This is a true story, and one of my personal favorites, a harrowing account of a 40-year-old woman living alone in New York. After losing her husband and living apart from her son, this woman thought she was used to the silence and solitude, but little did she know her life was about to take a terrifying turn. At first, she couldn't make sense of the strange occurrences. Doors creaking, objects moving on their own, and an eerie feeling of being watched, day and night. It wasn't until she installed a security camera that the truth revealed itself. What she captured on footage will make your skin crawl. An unseen force, a presence that defies explanation, was haunting her every move. The woman was being stalked by something sinister, something that didn't want her to be alone. This story will send chills down your spine and make you question what lies beyond the realm of our understanding. So, if you're ready for a scare, keep listening. Emma Johnson moved into a quiet, old house on the outskirts of New York, hoping to find some peace after the death of her husband. It was an old Victorian house with creaky floors and dark corners. Emma thought a new start might help her heal. For the first few days, everything seemed normal. Emma unpacked her things and settled into her new home. But soon, strange things began to happen. It started with small, odd things. A picture frame would be slightly tilted. Doors she knew she had closed would be open, and she constantly felt like someone was watching her. At night, the house seemed to come alive with strange noises, whispers and creaks that had no clear source. One evening, as Emma was getting ready for bed, she heard a loud noise from the attic. Her heart raced as she grabbed a flashlight and climbed the narrow stairs. She shone the light around the dusty space but saw nothing unusual. Convincing herself it was just the house settling, she went back to her room, though she couldn't sleep well that night. The next day, Emma decided to set up security cameras around the house to find out what was causing these disturbances. What she saw on the footage was far more terrifying than she could have imagined. On the camera in the hallway, she saw a shadowy figure standing outside her bedroom door in the middle of the night. It just stood there, watching. It didn't move, didn't make a sound. It was as if it was waiting for something. Emma tried to tell herself it was just a trick of the light or her imagination playing tricks on her. But each night the figure returned, always at the same time, always standing in the same place. The sense of fear grew stronger with each passing day. One night, Emma decided she couldn't take it anymore. She stayed awake, holding a baseball bat for protection, watching the monitor that showed the live feed from the hallway. As midnight approached, she could feel her heart beating faster, and the air around her seemed to grow colder. Suddenly, the figure appeared on the screen, but this time it was moving. It was slowly coming closer to her bedroom door. Emma stood up, gripping the bat tightly, her whole body shaking. As she stepped into the hallway, the temperature seemed to drop even more, and her breath made small clouds in the cold air. She rounded the corner and froze. There it was, a dark silhouette, more real and terrifying than any nightmare. It was standing at the foot of her bed, its head slowly turning as if it sensed her presence. "Who are you? What do you want?" Emma's voice shook as she tried to get answers. The figure didn't respond. Instead, it started to fade away, disappearing into the shadows until it was gone. Emma stood there, trembling, unable to understand what she had just seen. The next few days were filled with fear and confusion. Emma felt like she was living in a nightmare. Each night the shadow returned, bringing a new wave of terror. She tried to talk to friends, but they didn't believe her. They thought she was just stressed and grieving. Desperate for answers, Emma began to research the history of the house. She found out that the previous owner, a woman named Margaret, had lost her husband in a terrible accident. Grief-stricken, Margaret had become a recluse and eventually vanished without a trace. Emma couldn't shake the feeling that Margaret's spirit was still in the house, trapped and suffering. Determined to end the haunting, Emma sought help from a local historian and a paranormal investigator. Together, they uncovered more details about Margaret's life and the strange events in the house. Margaret had believed that her husband's spirit was trying to contact her, and she had tried many times to communicate with him through seances. During one of these sessions, something had gone terribly wrong. Margaret had opened a door to another world, allowing a dark, evil force to enter. As they dug deeper, Emma and her team found a hidden room in the basement. It was filled with old photos, letters, and strange symbols. It looked like a shrine to Margaret's lost love, but it also had clues about the ritual that had unleashed the dark force. Emma realized that to stop the haunting, she had to complete the ritual and close the portal that had been opened. The process was dangerous, and the dark force grew more threatening each day. On the night of the ritual, the house seemed alive with a dark energy. Shadows twisted and moved along the walls, and the air was heavy with a menacing presence. Emma carefully followed the instructions, chanting the words and placing the symbols in the right order. As she neared the end of the ritual, the dark figure appeared before her, more solid and terrifying than ever. It lunged at her, and she felt an icy grip around her throat. With her last bit of strength, she completed the final step, and the room was filled with a blinding light. The dark force screamed and then vanished into nothingness. Emma collapsed to the floor, gasping for air, her body shaking with relief and exhaustion. When the light faded, the house felt different. The heavy, oppressive feeling was gone. The haunting was over, and Margaret's spirit was finally at peace. Emma could feel a gentle presence around her, a whisper of gratitude for ending the nightmare. Emma decided to sell the house and move away. She wanted to start fresh, far from the memories of what had happened, but the experience had changed her. She knew now that there were things in the world that we couldn't explain, forces that waited in the dark, ready to touch our lives in ways we couldn't imagine. Emma's story became a warning to others. Be careful where you go and what doors you open, for some mysteries are better left unsolved. Years later, people still talked about the old Victorian house. It stood empty, a ghostly reminder of the events that had taken place there. Some said the shadowy figure still haunted its halls, waiting for someone new to move in. Emma found peace in her new home, surrounded by friends and a supportive community. She never forgot the lessons she learned during those terrifying nights. She knew that the scariest things aren't always the ones you can see, but the ones you can't. So, if you ever find yourself alone in a quiet house, and you feel the hair on the back of your neck stand up, remember Emma's story. Because sometimes the things that go bump in the night are very real, and they're closer than you think. Thank you for watching. If you found Emma's story as chilling as I did, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more spine-tingling tales. And always, always keep your lights on.